welcome to episode 81 of the Lonely Knitter podcast. My name is Laura and welcome to my knit night. If you're new here, hi, welcome, come on in, pull up a chair. This is where I come to chat about mainly knitting, sometimes other crafty bits and bobs, sometimes crochet, things like that. I am out of practice, as you can tell. I'm coming to you from the most easterly town in England, in the UK. I live here with my husband, my 4 and 2-year-old children, my 5-month-old puppy, and my very old cat. And yeah, this is where I come to chat about all the craftiness in my life, because I don't have a knit group and I don't have anyone else to talk to. So I turned to the internet and found an amazing group of crafters to chat to. If you are a returning viewer, hiya! Welcome back! Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's been a little while. It is episode 81 and today is Tuesday, the 30th of November. Oh my gosh, can you believe that it'll be December tomorrow? I can't believe where this year has gone. It has just vanished. But there we go. Tomorrow will be the 1st of December and the start of Vlogmas, which I'm going to attempt. As usual, will probably fall off halfway through the month, but I'll try. Yeah, thank you so much for coming back as always. And I feel like I look a little bit scary. There is a light very close to the camera, so I am almost looking into it and it's very, very, very bright. I'm hoping that the light it'll come across well on the video. We shall see. It's all an experiment. I'm also hoping that you can hear me. So everyone who watched the last video, I am so sorry for the sound issues. I didn't realise until after I'd posted it that it had horrendous sound. On my phone, it was playing back absolutely fine. So yeah, I'm so sorry for everyone that tried their best to watch the last video and struggled to hear it. I'm hoping today will be better. So yeah, the lighting should be better, the sound should be better. The lighting, I just feel sorry for you because there is no makeup on this face. Scary. Yeah, so where can you find me? I'm definitely out of practice. I am most active over on Instagram as @thelonelyknitter. I also have a website, which is thelonelyknitter.co.uk or craftersbam.co.uk. Either of those will take you to the website, and I'll leave links below for where you can find me and anything that I chat about in today's podcast. Any links to other businesses, anyone else that I talk about will be below. So, what has been going on? What do I want to start with? Finished objects. I think I'm ready to start. Oh no, I'm not ready to start. I knew there was something I'd forgotten. You really are having a chat with me because it's just a stream of consciousness just coming out of my mouth. Yes, I need to say a big thank you. So, the last podcast, the sound was awful. I did not realise it was awful. There was a few theories as to why. Could potentially have been because the dog was moving around in the room, so the mic was trying to pick him up but not me. But I have noticed it being a bit awful on quite a few videos recently, and I'm not sure what's going on. So when it was yarn wishes granted. Since the last time I spoke to you on the podcast, there was yarn wishes granted. So in November, it's around Thanksgiving, there is yarn wishes granted, and it's usually on Instagram, and people basically say what they wish for yarny wise, and you can go online, you can grant people's wishes, and once you've granted a wish you can ask for one yourself. So I granted quite a few wishes this year. I sent out mini skeins to quite a lot of people. I sent out some stitch markers and a few other little bits to people that were wishing for things online. And then I asked for my wishes. So my wishes, I put up 4, and I granted 6, and then I put up 4 wishes, all on one post, and 3 of them were free to do. So it was to come over here and subscribe, because I'm very close to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed and you fancy doing it, I would love to hit that milestone. I would be over the moon. So if you fancy subscribing, please do. And hit the thumbs up. I don't know why we even say that. Is it because it, like, I don't know. If you fancy hitting the thumbs up, that'd be great. I don't know what I'm doing. Can you tell? Yeah, so my wishes were to come over here and subscribe, to go and follow the East Anglia Yarn Festival account over on Instagram. If you fancy checking that out, me and a couple of my friends are running a show next year near Norwich, which is quite close to where I live, and it's going to be amazing. We have 60 amazing vendors. Our website is now live at eastangliayarnfestival.com. You can, links below, you can have a little look, and the vendor list is live as well. And I'm really, really proud to be bringing such a lovely group of people who are amazing, talented business owners to Norwich next year, and to have an East Anglia based yarn festival. So because normally I have to travel a very long way to be able to get to a yarn show. So yeah, it's going to be nice to have one of our own. So yeah, I asked for that. I asked to subscribe over here. I asked for recommendations for microphones that could work on a phone. So I am recording on my iPhone. That is because I have 2 small children, and my time, I have a business. At the moment I only have 1 day a week to work, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a big struggle. I don't have the time that I would like to promote and put into my business. So every single little sale is a huge big deal, and helps me live. So I am very, very grateful for that. But it just means that when I'm recording, if I was recording on a camera and then having to edit and put lots of bits together on a laptop, move everything over onto the laptop, and then upload to YouTube, it's an extra step. Whereas if I record on my phone, I can edit in iMovie on my phone, and I can then upload on YouTube to my phone, from my phone. So it's all a on the phone process. I really did consider changing to a camera. If I'm honest, it would be a very cheap camera because I don't have the funds to buy an expensive one, and the quality would probably not be as good as the phone for what I could afford to buy in a camera. So we're sticking with the camera. But when it came to the mic issue, so I don't know why the mic seems to be packing in on the phone, but I asked in the Yarn Wishes Granted for recommendations for a affordable mic that could work on my phone. And then my 4th wish was that if anybody out there really enjoyed my podcast and wanted me to keep podcasting and wanted the sound to be better, if they were able to and wanted to, would like to put me a Kofi through, so I have a Kofi account, put me money through on there, I would put it all to one side to save towards a microphone. I was incredibly grateful. I did get some Kofis, and I am so grateful. You guys, you know, really, as an independent maker, there is a lot of times when you can feel this major feeling of like imposter syndrome, and like a feeling like you're not good enough, and like you're not, nobody really likes you, and nobody really, you know, at any point this could all end, and you could be in a real mess, and then to have people show up for me because they actually like something that I do and want me to carry on doing it, that was a huge big deal for me. So I am very grateful. So thank you very, very much. I also, after I had received some Kofi donations, I also had somebody offer to send me a little clip-on mic. So I now have this little clip-on mic, which does work, but I also have the mic that I'm using today. So they sent me that one, which I was very grateful for, and I will use if I am podcasting with the dog in the room. So if the dog is moving around, I will have the little mic clipped on my collar so that you can, you know, it's closest to me. But while I was waiting for that to come through, I ordered the mic that you can hear me on now. So I went and bought a little vlogging phone kit, and it looks hilarious, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm looking at myself right now on the screen, and it's on a little tripod, so my phone's on a little tripod, and then on top is the mic. But it comes with some caps for the mic, you know, like squidgy, and one of them is a dead cat. A dead cat. I keep saying a dead cat because I said it was a dead cap to my daughter, who thought I said dead cat, and now it's a dead cat. There's a dead cat on my phone. It's awful. She was traumatized. I had a lot of explaining to do, but yeah, it's a big fluffy thing. It's like, it's right here and it's huge. It's just above the screen. But I've been testing it out and it really does work. And as I am planning to do Vlogmas throughout December and vlog December, I thought it might do quite well because I'm going out for 2 dog walks a day most days, and with the wind and things like that, I will look a fool. My neighbours will be like, what is she doing, when I walk around with holding onto because the tripod folds up, so holding onto the tripod bit with the phone there and this dead cap on the top. I am gonna look ridiculous, but all in the name of fun. But yes, so I need to say a huge thank you to everybody. I read all the messages that came up on the Kofi. I am so grateful. And you gave me a real boost to feel like people care, to feel like people like me enough to want to support me in this. That was a big deal. That was a really big deal. So thank you, because I was really shocked and it meant an awful lot to me. So thank you, because I couldn't afford to buy one, and yeah, you gave me pretty much the right amount of money to buy one. So yeah, I'm very grateful. Thank you. And that being said, if you enjoy the podcast and you fancy supporting me, please do check out my website, see if there's anything on there that you would like, maybe a yarn pet that you would like to adopt. But otherwise, if you don't need any more yarn and you would like to support the podcast, feel free to send me a Kofi, and that money goes in the pot towards, I have prizes that I am planning on putting up for giveaways and lots of other little things, and it helps cover the costs for those. Anyway, now shall we begin, because I feel like that was a very long intro. In fact, it was. We are 12 minutes in and I haven't talked about knitting yet. I'm so sorry. I'm obviously out of practice. So I have a finished object. An actual finished object. Nobody fall off their seats. I know. I'm going to pick it up. It's a big one. Now, and when I say finished object, I've finished the knitting. It counts, all right? It counts. It's not blocked and the ends aren't woven in, and I will do it, but I'm not going to show it to you again. So it's finished object. This is a flax. If you have been watching this for a long time, you may know that a very long time ago, I knit myself a red flax. And I also knit one for my daughter. And I loved my red flax, and my husband felted it. And then some very wonderful friends knit me another flax, and one for my daughter and one for my son when my son was born. It was a big deal. It was a very big deal. But I knit that first flax, and my lovely friend Lily said that she really liked it and really wanted one for like a big snuggly oversized jumper for in the winter. My friend Lily is quite a bit smaller than me. This will not fit me. This is the medium size, I think it's the medium, of the Flax by Tin Can Knits. This is a free pattern, I'm pretty sure. So go and check it out. Most people know this pattern is a really well written pattern, as all of Tin Can Knits patterns are. It's a brilliant first sweater. It's a top down raglan sweater. So yeah, if you fancy trying it. So she asked me to knit this, and she bought the yarn, and it's drops. I want to say Nord. I might be wrong. Nepal. Drops Nepal. Nepal. Like the place. My brain's not working. And she bought this yarn and gave it to me to then knit the sweater. So I told her where to get it and everything, and she ordered it. And I told her it would take a long time, because I told her. I did warn her. I really did. that I am not a monogamous knitter. And when I get bored of something, it gets bunged in a bag until I can be bothered to pick it up again, because my attention has gone squirrel and I have gone to something else. And she accepted that. But I don't think she really understood it. Because she's given up asking me about this sweater. She hasn't asked me about this sweater in about a year. I picked it back up when I was pregnant with Alfie, when I was in hospital for 4 weeks. So this, I've just knit an entire sleeve and one cuff. So that's all it needed, was this cuff and an entire sleeve. And I cast this on before I was pregnant with Alfie. He turned 2 yesterday. It's about 3 years in the making, this jumper. And when I give it to her, she'll be like, I didn't think it was ever coming. But I haven't told her it's done yet because I have to weave the ends in and block it. So goodness only knows, I will get it done soon. So yeah, a flax, a medium size adult flax with absolutely no modifications, no anything different, just a flax. And it's finished and off my needles. Oh my gosh. So on to whips. I'll show you this one first as it's in my hands. Now, if you watch my podcast, you will have heard me talk about Sharon of the SCR1 TNO podcast. My lovely friend Sharon. She is my adopted yarn mum. And she knits her socks on 2 circular needles. And I have thought for ages, I need to learn how to do that. I want to learn how to do that. Just be another fun thing to do. I learnt to knit socks on double pointed needles, so on DPNs, and then I switched to magic loop a few years ago. And I from then on, I just loved magic loop. I never get a ladder on magic loop, and especially around having young children and being the sort of person who likes to knit on the go and then shove her knitting in a bag. Like if I have to do something, I'll just shove it in my bag or shove it in my pocket and then pull it back out. Not having all the little DPNs to worry about is a plus. I have lost about 50 million of them throughout my life. So I have been hooked on magic loop ever since. But I always see Sharon knitting on 2 circular needles and think, oh, I wouldn't mind trying that. I wouldn't mind having a go. And I think I've said to her before, and she said, oh, I'll teach you at some point. But the thing is, we live absolutely miles away from each other. So we don't see each other in person very often. And we are both very busy. And I have little kids, and she does other things in the evening, like brownies and guides. And, you know, so between us, it just never happened. And then recently I said to her again, I really want to learn. And she was like, oh, okay, I will teach you. So I bought 2 circular needles to learn, and we hadn't sorted a time to get together, but we were like, we'll do it at some point soon. And then my fingers got itchy and I had to cast on straight away. So everything that I know about knitting socks on 2 circular needles is learnt from watching Sharon. And we haven't spent that much time together where she's been doing it. I mean, every time that we've been together, I think she's probably had a sock on the go, and she has probably been knitting it with 2 circular needles. But yeah, that's I did have a proper good look at her when we were at Unravel this year. I've edited at Unravel this year, and she was my booth buddy for the show. And yeah, I looked at her. I'm a little bit stuffy. Can you hear? I'm a little bit stuffy at the moment, stuffy nose. So yeah, sorry if that's bugging anyone. So yeah, what I know about circular knitting socks on 2 circular needles, I have learned literally just from watching Sharon. And so I thought I would have a go. And I cast on, and it's working, so I think I'm doing it right. So yeah, I'm actually really enjoying it. I didn't think I would. The bit that has bugged me, the bit that I've had to get used to the most, is the shorter tips. So the tips on these are Addies that I bought, like, I want to say 40 centimetre Addies. 2.25mm needles in it, all my socks on 2.25mm needles. But they have a shorter tip than my standard magic loop 80 centimetre needles. I like Chowgu, they're my favourite, but I need to invest in some more I don't have very many. I think I have either 2 or 3, but they are all in socks around the place because, again, squirrel. But yeah, I am really, really enjoying this, and I have gotten used to the shorter tips. I didn't think I would, but I have. And the only thing, I haven't actually started to knit with the wrong needle yet, but I do pick up the wrong needle a few times. So I need a tip as to how to pick up the right needle straight away, like if there's a quicker way to do it, because right now I am having to look to change needles each time, whereas with Magic Loop I don't have to look anymore for the change over from one half to the other half. So I'm still getting there. This is literally all I've knit, so I'm not, you know, I'm not experienced in it yet, but I hope Sharon will be proud of me, and I'm going to be seeing her this weekend at the Lay Family Yarn Retreat, so I'm definitely going to be asking for any tips or tricks. But yeah, if you don't watch Sharon's podcast, the SCR1 TNO Knitting Project podcast, you should, because Sharon's lovely. She knits a ton of different things, and she's just a really, really lovely person, so you should watch her. Anyway, onto the whip, which is this sock, and it is a stripy sock, and this is a Giddy Yarns colourway. Helen of Giddy Yarns, she did a trade with me where we said we were going to trade a self-striping sock yarn. I was asking to buy one from her to join in with the SCR1TNO stripy sock cal. Well, we all know how my good intentions go. I didn't end up finishing my socks, but I did end up buying from quite a few dyers that were on Sharon's list throughout the year, so hopefully next year I'll actually knit them. But this is the frosted, I don't know if it's blowing out because the light is very close to the camera. There we go. This is the frosted colourway from Giddy Yarns. It is gorgeous, and I think Helen was talking about an upcoming self-striping sock update soon. Am I wrong, Helen? I'm not sure, but check out the Giddy Yarns podcast anyway, because Helen's amazing. So yeah, this is this one, and I think because I'm really enjoying these gorgeous stripes and I really want them to all be the same in length, I'm going to put in an afterthought heel, which doesn't fit me the best, but I'll get over it. I want them to look a certain way, and I have pulled out a mini skein actually. This is just one of mine. It's an old, oh, blown out. This, come on. There we go. So it's just a very light purple. I need to hide it from the light. There we go. It's just a very light purple, and I thought I didn't want to match any of the colours in here. I did want to go for something a little bit different. I thought that'd go all right. So that's one that's been floating around in the shop stuff actually. And that is currently living either in this bag or in my pocket. It's been in my coat pocket, which has given me, because it's a gobstopper ball, given me a really bulgy pocket. Anyway, I think I was going to say that me and Helen were going to do a swap, because I wanted to knit her sock yarn for the stripy sock cal, and she was like, I'll just send you one, and then when one of yours comes up that I really like, I'll go that one and I can send her one. So we're going to do it that way. So yeah, that's how I came to have this ball of Giddy Yarns, and it's been living in here. This is my sort of handbag at the moment, or in my pocket, so big bulgy pocket on my coat. But what happens with me is that I get a project bag, and then everything and its mother starts to live in here. I have my switch. I have a dinosaur. I have a car. I have a placemat that I made a long time ago. My blanket has abandoned me. I have a post van. Why do I have so many vehicles? It was Alfie's birthday yesterday, and he did get, but I have a candy cane that Alfie has chewed the top of, even though it was still in its plastic. A pen. A face mask. A clip-on mic. Oh my gosh. Those little lightning AUX to lightning adapters, because I have an iPhone. A letter from the hospital. A Freddo wrapper. A bag with some mini skeins in. and the next project that I want to show you. So it really, when I start using a project bag, if it's a project that I'm enjoying that actually travels around with me, it starts to gather many things. This is a little bit ridiculous. I will tidy that out afterwards. Anyway, so on to the next project. I've cast on something new. I had a little idea for a new pattern. So if you know me, if you're not a brand new viewer, I do write my own patterns, mainly sock patterns, but a few other things. And especially this time of year, if you are interested in a scrappy pattern for advents or anything like that, I do have my Show Us Your Scraps mitts that are for sale. And my patterns are all for sale, both on Ravelry, but also on my website. So if you can't use Ravelry for accessibility reasons, or you just don't use Ravelry, they are all on my website as well. But I had an idea for some new mitts, and I'm currently, again with the lighting, here we go. So I am currently making awful nails. Look at my awful nails, they're all chipped. The first one is just cast on, and the idea being that they are quite long mitts because I keep getting a chilly breeze up my sleeve when I'm walking the dog, so quite long, and then they will have a thumb hole, and then they will be fingerless mitts because I need my hands out to knit. And this one that I'm making has undyed yarn in between each scrap, and these really do take a tiny amount on each one. And I'm going to make them so, I think I'm going to make them so they have 12 colour stripes and then the white ones in between. But the idea being that you can use them for Advent, or you can use them for 12 days of Christmas, or just any little scraps. But they have a rib and some slip stitches that give us this sort of bumpy effect. So yeah, and they are knit on a 2.5mm needle, and they are on the Zings, which do not have the best join, but they are affordable, and they are fine. And I like metal needles, and they are fine when it comes to the needles. I like the tips. It's just the join that bugs me on these ones. And then a magic loop because it's easy and in my brain. So yeah, I have these, and fingers crossed I will be having fingerless mitts to wear in the next sort of week or two. Because the pattern in my head is all completely done, a little bit of me wants to dump these off the needles because tomorrow is the start of Advent, and I can cast on a pair with my Lay Family Yarn swap. So Kelly of Lay Family Yarn does an Advent swap every year where people can swap their scraps, little 5-gram scraps, wrap them up and swap them in Advents with another person. And I have done that, and I am paired with an absolutely lovely lady this year, and I would like to make it with those. I kind of would like to, so we shall see. But yeah, this is the pattern so far, and hopefully next time I show you it will actually be a bit more of a pattern, but you'll get to see it grow throughout Vlogmas as well. So that is with some undyed yarn, and then this bag has some scraps in. This plastic bag was given to me by Katie. Can't remember what your Instagram name is now, Katie. My brain's gone. But the lovely Katie. Katie, in the comments below, go, "Oi, you idiot." But basically, she lives near me, and when I popped over to see her once, she gave me this bag full of little minis, and only two of these are minis that she actually gave me, but I've been using the Ziploc bag ever since, and that was years ago. It was ages ago, wasn't it, Katie? It was before COVID, but the Ziploc bag is still there and still carries my minis around for me. Anyway, so those are what I've been working on. I did work a little on this. So this is my Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, and I keep wanting to call it Texture Time. I keep want to call it Slip Extravaganza, but it's not. It's Shawlography. And last time I showed it to you, I think I was here-ish in this section. Maybe I'm wrong. Can't remember. But I have now finished the bubbles, and I finished the triangles, I finished the bubbles, and I have now started the short row wedges that go up the sides. I'm on the first one, and I've not worked on this for like a week because squirrel. I'll finish it in March sometime like I always do. But I am enjoying it, and I'm on the short row wedges, and I'll get there slowly. And I am knitting this out of my yarn, Bumbling Yarns, my own hand-dyed yarn company yarn, and it is living. I won't show you all the yarn again today because I showed it you last time, but it's living in this gorgeous hide and hammer bag, which, and I'm knitting it on Zings again because they're affordable and I have a few of them, and it's living in this lovely hide and hammer bag, which I didn't actually get from Hide and Hammer. I bought from my lovely friend who wasn't in love with it, and I had mentioned that I wanted one, and then when I mentioned it, she showed me hers and said that she wasn't in love with it and gave me the chance to buy it from her, and I did buy it from her because I love it. So yeah, it's in my gorgeous Hide and Hammer roll top bag. And then the last thing that I'm going to show you is actually sort of a future knitting thingy. It's not actually something that I have worked on, but it is something that I have got out to work on. So when I cast off the flax, I was like, grab another jumper out, grab something simple that's big out and knit on it, because next to me is a wall of project bags and every single one has a project in, so you gotta carry on, girl. And this is a sweater that I have stolen the needle tips off, but I think they are 4mm needle tips. I'm not 100%, I will need to double check, and I think I stole them to work on the flax, so I can steal them back to put on this, and I don't dare let go of these ends because I think I'm going to drop everything. But I can't remember what this pattern is. I think it's a Hohi Locatelli pattern. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Sharon will know. SCO1TNO Sharon. Sharon, this is the jumper that I knit because you had it understated. Oh, understated. So this is an understated, which again I think is by Hohi Locatelli. I might be wrong. And it's bunched up on a cable that is too small for it without any needles. But now I really want to work on it, and I love this yarn. It is the most beautiful colour. This is Lay Family yarn, and that's an undressed skein. That's all of my skeins. So this is a very messy project bag that was a handbag. I'm alternating skeins. I have 2 balls that I had hand wound for some reason, didn't use my ball winder, and I have 2 skeins left, so those are 2 pretty much full balls, and then I have 2 skeins, both of which did not come like this. They came beautifully, lovely, twisted gorgeousness from Kelly of Lay Family Yarn, but I've had them for ages. I think I've had them since before COVID. I think I cast this one before COVID. Oh my gosh. But this is her DK weight, and it is the colourway Forager. It's a 75%, 25% superwash merino nylon, 225 meters to 100 grams. It is gorgeously soft. It is absolutely beautiful. It's quite a dark colour. Yeah, that is quite true, and it's so gorgeous. And I didn't say who this bag was from. This is a bag by the lovely Jo, So Can Jo. She made it for me last year when she let me and a few other friends pick some project bags. So yeah, this is Lay Family Yarn, the gorgeous Kelly of Lay Family Yarn. I am so excited to be going on her retreat this weekend. I wanted to go before COVID when they set up, and I was pregnant with Alfie and I wasn't very well and I was a bit poor, and I just couldn't make it happen. But when she started them up again, I was like, I am making that happen, and I saved up, and I'm really chuffed. I'm really chuffed to be going. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see everyone. I'm staying in an Airbnb with my lovely friends. I know that other, I'm not saying that your experiences aren't valid if you're not a mum, but I know that other mums will know how I feel here when, and I know not all mums will be like this, because some mums are like, I'm perfect and my children are perfect and everything's perfect. I'm not that mum. And the idea of having a few days away from my children in quiet adult spaces where we can laugh and just not have to be responsible for another human being is so exciting to me. Yeah, I'm over the moon excited, and I did have a plan absolutely ages ago when I first booked on to this retreat that I would have this sweater knit, so that I would have a sweater in Lay Family yarn to wear to Lay Family yarn, to the shop and to the retreat and everything. And well, you can see how that worked out. So I am a squirrel. But I am going to carry on working on it because I'm just working down the body at the moment, which is like a big tube. It's just knit the whole way. So I really actually should do what Sharon does and knit the sleeves first, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to knit the body. So because I'm already on it and my brain, I don't know. I think it's a brilliant idea every time I see Sharon do it. I just haven't done it. So yeah, I have joined together for the front. So the shoulders are done and then joined, and then I have joined it together for the front just here. And that is all I have knit down from the body. So I've not knit a lot. Again, and it was ages ago. Doesn't count for this week's knitting, but I've got it out. I am carrying it around, and hopefully we'll get some work done on it if I get a moment. And it is living in another glorious Sokanjo bag. I feel like this might have been my first Sokanjo bag, because Jo sent me absolutely ages ago when I was still recording in my kitchen ages and ages ago. She sent me a gorgeous bag, couple of bags, or maybe it wasn't, I can't even remember. One to give away and one to keep. And yeah, I love this bag. It's a cat bag with flower crowns. So from Sokanjo, my lovely friend Jo online. I think that is all the knitting to talk about, and I will have a quick run through of some life stuff with you before I have to go inside, because my lovely dad has come over to look after the kids while I was doing a bit of work, and then I thought I'll be able to squeeze in a podcast, but I need to go in very soon. So, life stuff over the last few weeks. I can't remember what I told you last time, so I'm ever so sorry if I repeat stuff that I've already said. But Ellie's been on a peanut desensitization trial for the last over a year. And we found out the other week that she's been on placebo the whole time, which is, you know, it was a 50-50 chance as to whether or not we were on placebo or peanut. So she has a peanut allergy, and this trial, they give you a tiny bit of medication every day, and they build it up more and more and more over the weeks and months. And then at the end, if she's been on peanut, she should be desensitized to peanut, and she should be able to eat a certain amount of peanut without having a reaction. If she's been on placebo, then you didn't get the stuff, and you then start the peanut afterwards. So you always get the peanut in the end, but it's a longer road. So we did her food challenge exit trial the other day, and it was horrible, and she had a really nasty reaction, and yeah, she is still allergic to peanut, and she was on the placebo the whole time. So we have now started the peanut, which means I'm on edge because I am feeding my child a tiny piece of what she is allergic to every day. So far, we've just had a little bit of a runny nose. No rashes yet, no nothing nasty. What she is getting is like 1/100th of a peanut. It's a tiny, tiny amount. So yeah, they're going to build her up very, very slowly, which means we're back to fortnightly hospital appointments. Joy! But there we go. I couldn't afford to put her through it privately because it is crazy, crazy money, as in like more than 40 grand to get it done at Addenbrooke's. And a massive trek to Addenbrooke's. So we're very lucky really that we've managed to get onto this clinical trial, and we will get there in the end. I can't remember what I've told you about my health stuff recently. I was diagnosed with endometriosis. I always say that wrong. Not that long ago, last month. And I've been put onto monthly injections to stop my estrogen production. So if you don't know what endometriosis is, let's get involved with my very, very small explanation that does not really explain everything. Okay, so the way it was described to me as a stupid person who does not know anything about anything was that every month when your womb lining builds up inside your womb, it also you are getting the same stuff building up in other places in your body. So like for me, a lot around my bladder. And when you get a period, it all goes whoosh and flashes out. I know, TMI, you can get over it. Some people have periods. But because the stuff that's building up that's not in my womb, you get your period, it can't wash out. It has nowhere to go. It's stuck there around my bladder or around wherever it's formed, and it creates scar tissue, which creates lesions, which adheres to different parts of you. So I've got a lot on my bladder, and it causes cramps and pain, and I was getting a lot of pain. I was getting a lot of other symptoms. I had a scan last June, so not this June, the year before, but there was a major shortage of gynae doctors at my hospital, and COVID was putting everything majorly far behind, so I didn't actually get my appointment to talk about what was the results of the scan until last month. So over a year, and it's got considerably worse. So I am now on these monthly injections that I have to get done at the doctors. The first one was done at the hospital, and now I'm going to the doctors, which stop your estrogen production, which should stop everything going on, so it should stop any further build up, which is fine because I'm done with having children. They also think that it might have something to do with the fact that the scar tissue that was all there, they said that when I had my son at 32 weeks pregnant, I was having a lot of pain, and I ended up being put into hospital for 4 weeks before they took him out 4 weeks early via a C-section. And they said I didn't have a choice because my previous cesarean scar from my own emergency cesarean of my daughter was splitting open on its own. And they're now saying that they think that it wasn't a problem with the old scar tissue. They think that it was because of all the lesions and all the stuff, that all the scar tissue and problems with having the endometriosis. So there we go. It's a bit more of an explanation to that, which was I suppose good to know. So I am on this medication that stops my estrogen, or reduces my estrogen production, which basically gives me menopause symptoms. So I'm not in the menopause. This medication puts you in it, but I'm not going through it and finishing it. So I'm experiencing it, but my body is not naturally ready to go through it. So, you know, it's not like it's starting the menopause for me and after a certain amount of time I'll be done. It's just putting me in there until my body is naturally ready to go through it in however many years to come, and then I get to go through it. So I'm basically stuck with whatever side effects I get. And for the last month, I have been having hot flushes, and I took the mickey a little bit out of my mum when she was sat there with her fan. She calls it a menopause fan. She sat there with her little fan blowing in her face, and I'm like, Mum, it's freezing in here, and don't get your fan out. And now I'm like, pass me the fan, because the hot flushes have been awful. I have been going out and it's been like 1 degree outside, and I've been going for a dog walk in a short sleeve t-shirt, and people are looking at me as I'm walking down the street in my short sleeve t-shirt and leggings, and I am still bright red and like pouring with sweat, and yeah, I look like a right nutter, but I can't help it. I've also got like really spotty in certain places, and my memory, I don't know if this is that or if it's just me in general, but over the last month, mainly over the last couple of weeks, I feel like I can't keep a thought in my head, and I can't remember silly little things that I've always known. And yeah, maybe it's just me getting older, but yes, I'm 31, and I now am feeling a lot more empathy for my mother, and yeah, the menopause symptoms suck. But there we go. So that's what's been going on in my life. Every now and then I turn into a sweaty mess. What else? Alfie's had his 2nd birthday. I can't believe he's 2. It feels like 2 minutes ago we were in hospital, coming home, and yeah. Frank the dog has turned 5 months old today. He is 5 months old today. He's a typical puppy. Last week we ended up in A&E because he bit Alfie. I say bit. It wasn't that bad. At the time I was hysterical. He had a treat. He had a food treat that he had never had before. It was a very special treat to him, and I didn't know about, you know, I should have known, I'm not very clever, you know, keeping children separate from dogs when they're eating. I thought that, you know, the kids should give him the food, and, you know, at the moment, so until then, Alfie would feed Frank individual pieces of dry dog food straight into the dog's mouth, and Frank would sit there nicely, and Frank's training's coming along and he's doing really well. But he had a very tasty treat that he was chewing on, and we'd been for a long walk, and Alfie came from above because Alfie was on the sofa and the dog was below, and he reached down and touched him, and the dog switched around and nipped him, and it wasn't that bad. And at the time I thought it was horrendous, and he went for 24 hours to stay with my dad while I just processed everything. The actual cut, because it was in Alfie's face, which is why it really upset me and why I wasn't sure I wanted Frank to come back. The actual cut didn't even bleed. It was very minimal, but I rang the GP because I heard that dog bites, you need to have like tetanus and possible antibiotics. And yeah, gosh, this light is really blowing me out. I'm not sure I'm gonna do this light up close again. So yeah, the GP couldn't get him in and advised me to go to A&E. I took him to A&E. They did give him a week's course of antibiotics just to get through, just to see, just in case there was any sign of infection. They weren't remotely bothered. I explained the situation with the dog because they wanted to sort of know the whole story. And they were like, he's a 4.5-month-old puppy, and it was over food, and he's shown no other signs of aggression. It's possession, not aggression. So, you know, yes, you should train him out of it, but just don't let him have those treats around the kids again. Don't let him have treats around the kids, and he should be fine. And to be fair, he has. If the doctors hadn't said that, so it was the doctor and the nurse that both said that, if they hadn't said that, I don't know that we would still have a dog. Because I am very nervous now, and I do have young children. The reason we got a puppy was so that we could bring him up with young children, and he wouldn't have a history that we didn't know about like we would with a rescue. It was very scary. It was a very hard day. He's back with us, and he has been an absolute model puppy ever since, and he's been really good and an absolute pleasure to be with, which is lovely. So I've been really proud the last week. But yeah, for a minute there, one of the scariest moments of my life. I thought as well that the doctors might say that they were going to like report it because it's a dog that bitten a child. So was it going to be a sort of police matter? I do know someone who's had their dog put down because it bit someone, and they weren't bothered. They said no, he's too young. The situation, it's just not. That's not the right thing. And I would have fought for that, not to, you know, whilst I would have, if like police had come along and said he can't live with kids or something like that, I would have accepted that and found him a good home. I would have fought back on the whole putting him down because he's a 4-month-old puppy. It's not right. But I had a lot of friends, a lot of people who have dogs, and the doctors, all kind of tell me that actually all you're going to do if you remove the dog at this time is make your son afraid of dogs. So just, you know, this is something that's happened. You've got to learn from it and move on. So, and we have, and it's been good so far. So hopefully everything will be okay. But he was in disgrace for a day. But yeah, hopefully everything will be okay. And that's it for life stuff, I think. East Anglia Yarn Festival. The website went live. My vendor list went live. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. So if anyone fancies coming to Norwich next March to see me running my first show, check out the website. Yeah. I can't believe Advent starts tomorrow. Can't believe Vlogmas starts tomorrow. Can't believe we're in the last month of the year almost. Anyway, I better go. I'm freezing in here because my radiator's broken, so I've got this tiny little heater, but it makes a lot of noise, so I can't have it on while I'm videoing, so I'm really cold. And yeah, I need to go in and check on my children and let my dad go home. Anyway, if you have joined me, then thank you so much for, as always, making me so much less of a lonely knitter.